Oh, aloha everyone. It was another perfect pullback today for the overall market. Stocks faded on lower volume today. As you can see on the NASDAQ, we were down 0.04%. On the Russell 2000, we were down 0.23%. You can see the intraday tail in the Russell 2000 chart, the NASDAQ chart, and you can also see it in the S&P 500 chart to see that we had great intraday support as we basically consolidate the recent gains from Tuesday, I guess it could be, because I guess it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, today. Okay, so continue to consolidate the games from Tuesday. Market still looks fine. It isn't the smoothest go of it. However, intraday trades continue to kill it. Like Plug did another breakout today. How much money have we left on the table now with Plug? Only 1,350%. Whoops. My apologies, but still, if you're following these things intraday, you know that small cap stocks like our recent long IFON continue to move huge on the breakouts. And while it isn't always smooth sailing, intraday you can set up your alerts to the stocks that have huge. Um, if a stock is up big in the early pre-market hours on strong volume with a lot of trades, um, put it on your intraday watch list. As it starts to form a base, you set up your buy stop level. When it breaks out, you get long. It's worked out really well. There's been people that have played, meat lately. Meat was up again today, and I know that that's been an intraday play for some. But as you can see, these guys continue to make huge moves. And as long as that's the case, you're going to do good. If you set up a buy stop on HIMX, you're now long HIMX, and it's another good looking stock. So the market continues to be very healthy overall. A lot of possible longs that we didn't take today, like TTC, RARE, PDO. There's just still a lot of signals out there. CMN has earnings coming up. But at the same time, not everything's working. We have two full sells. FALC is a full sell, closing below the final cut loss levels following that long signal. And KBH is a fail, closing below the 50-200-day moving average on very strong volume, completely reversing that breakout. And on top of that, PHM, by it closing below the 20-day moving average on lower volume, it's only a 25% sell, but you can see how that one's holding up pretty well compared to KBH. But still, PHM might become a future KBH, so keep an eye on that. Also taking 20% off SFM because SFM is closing below the 10-day moving average and closing below the low a day of our purchase date. So we got a long signal here. I wanted to really use 37.39 as my final cut loss. Wasn't sure where I wanted my first, cut loss area. But after the next day, after our signal day getting long at 38.35, 38.02 became my first cut loss level if it didn't hold. And as you can see here today, we didn't hold it. Closed below 10-day moving average. However, BOP's building, so definitely keep an eye on it. May trigger another long signal. And then we can add more to it than what we sold. Also, iCloud is just going to be another 50% sell. Why? Because now this time it's closing below the low a day 1354. However, 1351 is above my final cut loss level of 12. I guess 73, 1276 area now. It was 1268, but now we're going to move that up to 1273. So iCloud's another 50% sell. DDD, remember with FLT, I thought FLT was going to roll over and did a full sell right before it actually found its ultimate low. I assume DDD is going to do the same thing, but however, this time, since I'm not selling at all, it probably won't. This is a 50% sell as it's rolling over. It's another heavy volume close below the 50-day moving average following a very low volume rally back towards the 50-day moving average. A negative close tomorrow below the 62.77 low a day will get this a final sell signal, and it might happen because SSYS looks similar. The only reason why it might not is it had a better intraday reversal today than DDD, so a full sell here is not prudent. Remember, this is what FLT looked like at the very end whenever I did a full sell, but I shouldn't have. It should have just been another 50%er, and that way we'd still have at least a couple of shares, maybe 4 or 5 left, of FLT still working for us. So that's one thing to take away. And then SPWR, with it losing its green BOP and closing below the low a day of the signal date of 33.50, that is a 50% sell, still holding the uptrending 50-day moving average where our final cut loss will be. One new long position and one add. APAM gave a very super strong signal on Friday. Let's get up really close to it, like a zoom 7. And you can see the big surge in BOP volume, and the price bar closed below the 50-day moving average. A longer term chart looked better with that move, and now you can see today it's following through. So you got the big volume, big BOP, and the price move above the 50-day moving average, and you have an immediate follow through with it bouncing off the 50-day moving average on well above average volume, continuing to hold the max green BOP. The 2-day chart, you can see a ton of volume here. So that's a ton of volume, ton of accumulation coming right off the 50-day moving average, as the stock appears healthy to want to really move here. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But just, an overall solid looking Zoom 5 chart. The BOP staying max green, the well above average volume, very good add. Like I said, if this was a stronger uptrend, where some of our most recent longs were doing a little bit better, we weren't having the fault KBHs, we weren't having the HTHs, the FRMs, the ADHDs. Yeah, you could have made that one a 5% and then the signal and add a 5%. But since the market hasn't been up huge either Friday or today, it's hard to say that, yeah, what a great, amazing signal with the market behind it. So it's just going to be another 2%er. And then GCAP, another high quality can slim stock. Let's throw this up and see what GACP looks like just so I can show you. GCAP, earnings are well far away. Look at the earnings and sales growth. 49%, 59, 52, and then 158%, 380, 380, 167, 244% earnings per share gain. It's going to continue for the rest of the year, going out into 2015. Look at the mutual fund growth, 80, 87, 103, 129. PE ratios near the low end of its historical 5-year range. So it looks like we got a pretty solid signal here. If it doesn't work, the first cut loss levels with the close below 1021. And then if that doesn't work, their final cut loss level is a close below 986. But another very solid looking chart and a very solid looking market uptrend. Aloha.